All right. Good evening, everybody. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, Hydro-Québec. We know who that is. And Beth, good evening. Good evening. I wanted to share the petition that I finally finished. It's just been a crazy week. I meant to get it up earlier. But in a way, it's perfect timing because I found out that Mayor Clark, for no reason, no explanation, canceled the city council meeting again. So that means I believe we've had no meetings for the month of November when we have 40% of the city's staff laid off. We have, firefighters that are not, whole bunch of firefighters that are not working and not being paid, police, water department, street department, you name it. The mayor says we were in a financial crisis, but he still won't open the city books and show us where the money has gone or where the money is going. And, countless reasons why we definitely need to have a city council meeting tomorrow. But so hey, all on the queue. Bonsoir, bonsoir. But yes, the meeting is canceled. So I'll pull it up and very quickly just show you guys on Facebook as well. I shared Colby Chapman's posts on it because recommendations as well, actually, regarding some things people could FOIA. Right. Yes. On the queue. And Beth, he canceled again. Exactly. Can you believe it? This guy is nuts, but he's obviously hiding out. He 6 years, he and his allies totally ruined the city. We have no idea. He says we're 160 some million in debt. We have no idea. Harvey could have a surplus. We have no idea what's going on with the money. I've FOIA'd many times. They'll only release like little bits and pieces of the finances, but not like, anything so that we really know where the money's going. But yeah, exactly, Beth. He's hiding. He doesn't want to face the public. But sir, you created this crisis. So you can't just say, oh, Kellogg did it. I didn't do anything. And by the way, the only way we can get out is to get a bailout from the state. And okay, well, now I'm going to hide now. That's not right. Hey, no apologies. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, bonsoir. Good evening. But yeah, so that's one of the big pieces of news besides the petition that I'm excited to show you. But the no meeting tomorrow. City council was canceled. Wah, wah. Let me. For some reason, Facebook is like taking so much of the juice of my computer. He's going to hide until... Right. That's why I'm like, we should do something tomorrow, a live or a press conference or something, because this man, he cannot be in hiding. It's like 6 years, you and your buddies, you caused this crisis, and now you're crying for help, and then you're just gonna hide? No. You got to face the music. Face the music. And what do you notice? His mouthpiece, one of his mouthpieces, Jedediah Brown, is the one that is still, saying horrible things about people, lying. I don't know if he's tried to shake down any more Harvey businesses recently, but you notice he's still talking, right? So, we can tell he's definitely being used as a mouthpiece for Clark. It's just such a cowardly move, He needs to face things. Right, Beth, exactly. You know, even if you screwed up, oh well, you wanted the power. Like I said in the last city council meeting, I said, you wanted all this power. You wanted to be dictator. You got it. And now you have to face the music because you screwed everything up. Why nobody can access the books? Is there a law preventing this? You know, we've complained to many authorities, and I've said that many times. I said, how can you just, I said, can't you compel Harvey to open the books? How can it be legal for them not to? And, you know, a lot of the powers that be, they seem to just go, oh, yeah, I don't know. That's not really our job, or it's not our jurisdiction, or, you know, whatever. It's very shady. Can Colby arrange a town hall for people to just give public comment? Oh, that would be great. I would love that. And of course, I'm sure Clark would send the police to try to lock us out of the city hall. But I would love, like, why not? We could do it at a church or something. But like, if nothing else, we all like you're saying, we need a forum, you know, a way to just talk and ask questions and come together, because this is just not, you know, it's a city in crisis. You can't just ignore it. I agree with that on the queue. As a matter of fact, I'll text that to Colby right now, as long as you just said it, because I did mention to her some sort of, I'm like, you know, could we do something tomorrow? Because I mean, how can you just go a month without, you know, saying anything? Oh, yeah. You know what? It's doing the, so I still don't know exactly how it works, but StreamYard has these two things now. So it basically, one is a landscape version and one is a portrait. So you can be in either one. Francois. For our French. But yeah, that's a really great idea. Like I said, I'm going to text, sorry, I'll say sorry for the late text, but someone in my live just should I tell her it was you on the queue? I'm sure she knows who you are. That would be great. People may just want to get questions out there. Right. Yeah. My gosh, so many questions. All in yesterday. How does City in Crisis not have a meeting? Thank you. That's what I'm saying. You can't make this up, right? You can. Right. No, I agree. I think we should. We just need a venue. Honestly, we just need a venue. Shoot, I'd have people over at my house if I had enough room. But we just have to find a venue. I very, very much agree. It's just, as you can tell, for the most part, most of our politicians are not helping. They're not going to help solve this crisis. So we, the people, concerned citizens, even if you don't live in Harvey, you don't have to live here. We're all connected. We all share the same tax dollars and resources and roads and everything anyway, right? So we ourselves, we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to find some way forward. Yeah. So yeah, if somebody has an idea of a place to host, let me know, and I will text Colby. I'm apologizing to her. Said sorry for the late text, but someone in my live. I'll say all in the queue in case she might know you more so by your name. All in the queue just suggested maybe we do a town hall tomorrow night instead of city council, just for public comment. Maybe you could host at the church. Let me know your thoughts. So we'll see. But regardless, you know, I know Colby did some turkey Thanksgiving events this weekend. The city had one as well, City of Harvey. But yeah, as the people, we got to all come together. You think Clark is going to get paid anyway? Yes, he always gets paid. He and his buddies. 2 meetings in a row canceled, right? Yeah, use the library. Well, we should be able to. However, the library is controlled by the McCaskills. So you see, that's another problem. That's another corrupt family. Maybe her and Tracy can just hear the questions and ask Pissy Chrissy in an email. Yeah, true. Right. Exactly. And we know we're probably not going to get a response, but it's more so for the community, right? We need we need to be able to come and talk with each other and ask questions. That church where the pastor used to come and speak at the podium. Which one? Or do it on Zoom. Oh, that's a good. You know what? That's a great idea. I don't pay for Zoom, but if we could find maybe a host that pays for Zoom, because maybe it'd probably be easier. I was gonna say I usually I've used Google Meet more so lately, but I think there's a person limit, and Zoom I think you have to pay too, otherwise it has a limit. Or at a certain time we meet up in front of City Hall with our signs like we're protesting. Yes, I love it. Yes. Oh, all in the queue. No apology. I pay for Zoom. Okay. Oh, okay, good. So all in the queue. Yeah. So because I do not have a paid Zoom account, but that would be a possible thing. You could be the host, because we have to do something. I mean, it's just not. It's not okay. It's not okay. And I hate when people try to tell people. So yeah, we'll definitely talk more tomorrow on the queue for sure. But people will be like, "Oh, you don't live in Harvard. Why do you care? Blah 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 blah." You don't have to live here to care. Like we are literally a small region. We're all connected anyway. So no apologies. You need more than a sign outside in the cold. Well, that was my main concern about doing a protest tomorrow, was just the cold. Although we could do a little bit of both. We could maybe show up at the time that the meeting's supposed to be, because I bet you there's going to be a lot of people that don't see online the notices, and they're going to show up anyway. So we could maybe just do a little bit, show up with some signs for a short amount of time, and then after that say, okay, do a Zoom. It'll start at 8:00 or something. That could be possible. Or at the church that Colby Chapman's office is in. Yeah, the Methodist church. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So here is the post here. So you see right here, the big old thing. It says, City of Harvey canceled Monday, November 24th. Canceled. There's no explanation. There's nothing listed. And Colby wrote, the cancellation of our city council meeting without explanation signals a troubling disregard for process and public trust. It denies the council and the community an opportunity to address the very issues that residents are demanding clarity on: financial instability, city operations, and the well-being of the people who keep Harvey running. Since there is no transparency, no answers to public questions, and no city council meetings being held, I strongly urge our community to file FOIA requests. And that's definitely a great suggestion. You can always file FOIA requests. Below are reasonable and necessary questions residents can submit in their FOIA requests to demand clarity about Harvey's finances and operations. So she gave the link, to file a FOIA. That's on the city's website. So budget and financial status, the current fiscal year budget, including all amendments or revisions, the most recent year-to-date budget versus actual expenditures report, the general fund, any other major funds, cash balance as of the most recent month, any multi-year financial projection or forecast prepared by the city, revenues and grants, a detailed listing of all revenues received in the most recent quarter, including taxes, fees, state, federal grants, and the use or allocations of those revenues, documentation of any grants received or applied for in the last 12 months, including purpose, amount, and current status. Very good. Very, very good. Copies of vendor invoices, contracts, or purchase orders for expenditures made with grant funds. Expenditures, staffing, and layoffs, furloughs. A full list of layoffs, furloughs, and staffing reductions by department, position, title, effective date implemented in the last 12 months. A listing of all severance payments, termination payouts, or accruals related to layoffs, furloughs, all contracts and invoices for third-party or outsourced services engaged in the last 12 months. Because those, we have a lot of contractors that I think even the city comptroller, Lewis William, is a contractor, and they make a lot of money. So that would be the amount, vendor, scope of work. Any expenditure over $50,000 in the last 12 months with vendor name, purpose, date, and department. So those are, thank you, Colby, for those. Those are excellent, excellent, excellent suggestions of things. So that was her post from in Second Ward, Harvey, Illinois. And then I shared it or reposted it in Harvey Historical Society Facebook page, but you can find it there. All right, let me catch up here. Now you are worldwide. Use it. Yeah, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of a Zoom, only you need to stream a real-time gathering. Oh, you mean... Oh, yeah, but that would mean like having a place, though. French, is that what you're... You know what I mean? So a physical place. We were just saying maybe Zoom would be nice because that way we don't have to worry about getting a physical place. How many meetings can you cancel before something is really done by the government? Right, exactly. Unfortunately, we've seen how, for the most part, if we did not do a Zoom, we would need a physical place. So that can be a little challenging. But thank you all in the queue. She's offered to host on Zoom if we want to do that. But yeah, we've complained to authorities before, and they just don't seem to care about things like that. See, I agree with you, though. No apologies. There should be, regulations for all that, right? So anyway, I finally finished the petition. Now, wait, what's this? Or we have a town hall live on YouTube. Oh, okay. How we do... Can you do a YouTube though where like a whole bunch of people can log in at the same time? Or yeah, I see. You mean like a few of us could host it and then people would just type in their comments? Is that what you're saying? Versus now if we did like a Zoom, let's say if all in the queue hosted the Zoom, then we could, people would be able to speak audio, share their comments via audio and or via video. But anyway, yeah, so that's good. No, let's keep thinking about ideas because we cannot not meet. So let me pull up the petition. I even made a new Facebook group for it. So if people want to check out the new Facebook group, it's called Mayor Clark Must Resign Now. Resign now, Mayor Clark, you have failed this city. And it shows some of the dilapidated buildings, the fires. Oh, good. Someone commented. Ooh. Show us where the money's going. He promised to be the change for Harvey. Right, exactly. Now, how do I thought if I clicked on the post, it would pop up bigger. Okay, never mind. It doesn't. I'll zoom in. All right, so let me know if you guys cannot see. So it says, the post says, Harvey deserves better. We're calling for the immediate resignation of Mayor Christopher J. Clark and demanding a full forensic audit of Harvey's finances. And then this is just kind of a summary of it. I'll go over the full version in a minute. But the post says, sign the petition. It gives the link. Share this post to spread the word. Okay. So that was on Facebook. And like I said, I made a page just for Mayor Clark Must Resign Now because it's that urgent, and we were going into the holidays and think of all those city workers that, we're not getting our services, but they're still laid off. They're not getting any pay or benefits. It's really, really, really bad. And then Clark is going to hide. Like, no, we're not going to let that happen, guys. Okay. So then I'm going to show you guys the actual petition. Okay, and sorry, I'm going to catch up on the comments. Let's see. Minion, do a live 4-person in the script. Yeah. No, I know you can do, even for me, I could do a certain number of people, but it wouldn't be like it wouldn't be fair to like a proper community meeting, if we actually had 20, 30 people show up, it would be enough. You need Chapman and another one on there. I mean, that would be great. Yes. So I did text her. I officially asked Colby, so we'll see. Asked the police chief, fire chief. Yeah, they probably would not come, but BBC, I see. Oh, Burgundy Blue. Hey, Burgundy. Hello. Keep fighting. Thank you. It's a huge hardship for the furloughed employees. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Hardship for the furloughed firefighters. Yep. Yep. And, they still work. I still see that. I hear and I see the fire engine driving by, at least several times a week. So they're still working hard, but, without a lot of their colleagues. All right. So if you take a look, this is the petition. So the whole thing didn't fit in there, but I just put the part of you have failed the city. Petition for the immediate resignation of Mayor Christopher J. Clark and a forensic audit of Harvey City finances. And this is perfect. Like I said, you see the abandoned buildings, the fires, and the full graphic on Facebook. You can see even more. But it is just a great feeling of what we've been going through under Chris Clark for 6 years. We call on Mayor Christopher J. Clark to resign. To the mayor, city council, and residents from concerned citizens, we, the undersigned, write this petition to demand the immediate resignation of Mayor Christopher J. Clark. We believe that under his leadership, the city has suffered from a troubling lack of transparency, fiscal mismanagement, and abuses of power that undermine the trust and well-being of our community. So what are some of our concerns? And what I like about it is that there's some links here. So if you need a refresher, or if maybe, it's a journalist looking, or a friend or a relative that doesn't know anything about Harvey, whatever, you can click on the links in the petition and see some of these newspaper articles, just to remind you of some of the things that have gone on, why we're asking for this, for him to resign and for a forensic audit. Harvey's failed to complete mandated state audits. Lack of financial transparency raises questions. The treasurer's expressed concern about not being able to do her job. Opaque governance and abuse of power. Politically motivated arrests and harassment. Colby Chapman, my arrests. Others getting ticketed for talking under their breath at a meeting. So yeah, residents protesting suppression of dissent. The city's meeting minutes have been called into question. So we don't even know if we can, trust the minutes, which is important because that's the record of what happened at these meetings. Labor and contract issues. So Public Works Union alleges that Mayor Clark has not negotiated in good faith. Workers feel undervalued. There's a perception that the mayor is not supporting those who do the essential day-to-day work in Harvey. And of course not, because all the money goes to the top. They don't care about the workers that are actually, keeping our city going. Fiscal distress and service cuts. So the mayor, pushed to have Harvey declared a financially distressed city. Okay. Even though he still hasn't opened the book. So we don't know that. Maybe we are financially distressed. Maybe we are in debt. Maybe we're not. We don't know. And then leading to these furloughs, the cuts to services, these layoffs, it's horrible. This austerity undermines our quality of life and puts essential workers at risk. Also noting leadership credibility and accountability. It has a link to that CBS News interview with the former internal affairs officer from the police department who resigned in disgust, alleging that misconduct and corruption were blocked from investigation. And then just general, concerns about abuses of power and calling for a forensic audit. So what do we want? Sorry, let me catch up with the comments. Did I miss anything? Costs nothing to ask them. Oh yeah, for people to show up. Yeah, we could definitely put something out there and ask people. Yeah. So we want Clark to resign immediately. The city council should support a transition plan for interim leadership that centers on transparency, accountability, and fiscal responsibility. Now, when I looked this up, I didn't see anything in the city code that gives a guideline for what happens when the mayor resigns. Now, as we've seen that just happened this past Thursday in Riverdale. I believe what state law says is that when a mayor, because their mayor in Riverdale was just convicted, so he had to step down. But when a mayor leaves for whatever reason, I believe the city council elects one of their own, typically, to be interim mayor until the next election. A full independent forensic audit is what we want of all City of Harvey finances, departments, contracts, grants, revenue streams, and expenditure conducted by a certified outside forensic auditing firm with no prior connections to the city. So not Kasperick. Kasperick, that company that is based in Cal City, if you'll notice, they do like almost all the audits for a lot of the government boards around here. And a lot of the boards are the same ones that have problems with corruption. So again, it's got to be someone new and fresh. So e.g., this independent review, e.g. by a state agency or an outside auditor, should be launched to investigate the financial management of the city under Clark's tenure with results publicly released so we can all see them. Now, forensic audit is more so, is the most in-depth kind of audit, and that's usually when something improper is suspected with the money, which obviously, I think people are pretty clear on why that is, We want increased public oversight, more open meetings, better access to financial docs, and meaningful community input on city governance. Protections for city employees and residents who speak out, ensuring that no individuals face retaliation for dissenting or raising concerns. Why this matters. Harvey residents deserve a government that's accountable, transparent, and responsible with their tax dollars. Without meaningful change, the city risks deeper financial distress, loss of public trust, and further damage to its institutions. It's getting pretty dire. Leadership matters. The mayor must lead with integrity, openness, and a real commitment to serving every resident. All of our politicians should, but unfortunately, most do not. Conclusion. By signing this petition, we stand together to call for a new chapter in Harvey's governance, one characterized by honesty, accountability, and genuine service to the people. We ask Mayor Clark to step down so that Harvey can begin the work of healing, rebuilding, and restoring trust. So that is the petition. Now note, all verified signatures will be presented to the Harvey City Council, the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, and any appropriate oversight bodies as part of an official request for new leadership and compliance with the law. If you want your name to be confidential, please indicate that below. Results will be reported as, for instance, 1,000 some Harvey residents, 58 Harvey business owners, let's say 32 Harvey City employees. These are all the people that are calling for the mayor to resign and for the forensic audit. So, if you do not want your name to be shared, you can indicate that. So the first question just says, do you support the call for Clark's resignation and a full independent forensic audit? You have a choice. We know we have a lot of people, especially in this current climate, we have a lot of people that are afraid to speak out. It's sad, but it just is what it is. So you can say, yes, share my name publicly, woohoo. Or you can say, well, I'm afraid of retribution, losing my job, harassment by Harvey police, etc. Please keep my name private. Okay, so then your name's required. And then we want you to tell us, who are you and how do you relate to Harvey? Are you a resident, a city, or other? Your street address is required. We're not going to share anyone's address. That's only used for verification if needed. That's not going to be shared publicly. But for instance, if people are saying I'm a Harvey resident, we would kind of like to, if we have at least a name and address, we can actually verify and see if that someone is real. So we know that it's an actual resident. Zip code, email address, optional. That's never shared publicly. We would just use that for verification if needed. Phone number, same thing. Only if we need to verify, that would not be shared publicly. Then you have to say under penalty of perjury if you're telling the truth. Optional public comment. Leave a comment if you want. You could explain your reasons for supporting the forensic audit and the resignation, but don't share any information that might reveal who you are if you want to remain confidential, okay? And then, again, note to signer. That's it. It's very short. Your name, your city, and your zip code, your connection to Harvey, and your public comment may be shared publicly. Your name, however, will not be shared publicly if you mark private. If you marked private above, further up. So, your city, the zip code, how you're connected to Harvey, and your public comment might be shared publicly. But if you mark that you don't want your name shared, it will not be shared publicly. Addresses, emails, and phone numbers will not be public and will only be used to verify identity before signatures are submitted to the Harvey City Council and other relevant authorities. If you wish to stay updated on this effort, you may follow the Facebook group. And then I showed you guys the Facebook group that I created. I created one just for this. I don't like to have 5 million in one Facebook groups. I just did it because I do think, I mean, it's not every day that you call for a mayor to resign. So I think it's important enough to have its own Facebook group. So that is that. I don't know if you guys have any questions, but I'll also post the link in the chat. So please feel free to sign and share. Clark's not hiding the books because there's too much money. Right. It's more than likely it's where it's going. You need more people than the number of residents that go to the meetings. Exactly. Yep. So please, that's where I'm going to rely on you guys to share. We'll try to get some paper versions of it as well. I know Amir mentioned we should have probably at least one version on change.org just because he said it shows up in the searches. So we may have that as well. But let me share the link right now. Oh, that might be too long. Will the whole thing share? Oh, no, I think it will. I think it'll share, but you know what? If not, I'll also share just the link instead of the little intro part too. Okay. All right. Let me see. Oh yeah, sorry for the awkward long post. It didn't come out like I wanted it to. Did you get what Wiedemann acknowledged Harris did in Township? No. No, you'll have to clue me in. Idol Quebec. What did she allege? I mean, you know how the township meeting the other night was a mess too. They're not sharing what they're not sharing their finances either, okay? All right, so I'm closing that petition for now. I showed you guys that. I also did share a few things on Facebook yesterday. I was just trying to catch up, feeling so far behind with sharing information that I'd gotten when I FOIA'd from the city. Sometimes it's good information. Sometimes it's just sharing the fact that they're not sharing the information. But I do have some that I shared. Whoop. So I wanted to also just briefly go over those. That should be about it, though. I don't want to go too long. Objections were filed against candidacy petitions for Top Thornton Township Democratic spot. Oh, yes, I saw that. The objections. I wish they would do an objection based on residency for Napoleon because he doesn't live in the township. And sorry, my dog. If you hear snoring, it's my it's my dog. You know, he had a tough day of guarding the house and running around, you know, so he's got to sleep and he snores. All right, so this is one of the posts that I shared. Mayor Clark lies again. The mayor, you know, he kept saying like several of these events were not being paid for by tax money, but by donors. And one was the August 2025 National Night Out function. So, of course, I FOIA'd. I said, okay, send a list of donors. And guess what? This is crazy, you guys. You can't make this up. The city has determined there are no responsive records. It says the city, and this definitely sounds like a BS Clark excuse, doesn't it? The city was fortunate enough that participants and donations were not monetary. Vendors and participants of the event donated by providing or purchasing food, prices, games, and attended the event they met, and presented their donations at the time of the event. The city did not create a list of what participants attended the event, nor recorded what their donations were or requested receipts of what they spent. It's just like, we don't, we know nothing, I mean, come on. Get the heck out of here. So, yeah. So basically, you're lying. You're saying you're not using tax money, but you don't have any receipts that can prove that. Get out. Oh, here's another one that's good. Here's another one. Look at how much do we pay for Clark's security drivers guards, right? Okay, so I FOIA'd it. Please send the names, pay, and hours worked for Chris Clark's security detail for July. The response from the city, there are no responsive records. And then they make up a whole bunch of BS saying like, oh, well, we searched the database called Paycom, blah, 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 and no records for Chris Clark's security detail. The Harvey Police Department does not have positions titled security detail, mayor security detail, or security. The following positions do exist: police chief, deputy chief, police commander, blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, so that's total BS. I mean, just can you see who was working, that what a security detail is? Can you see who was assigned to it? So it's like, okay, they're hiding that. So then I did email back and I said, all right, well, just send info for any police staff that were assigned to Clark, for that same time period. It's like, anyway, they just lie to your face. That's another one. Let me see if I missed any questions or concerns. Harvey's in deep trouble. Oh, yeah. But I mean, we've known that for years. So now he's sharing. Now he's begging for help, but also hiding at the same time. Oh, this is a good one. So I FOIA'd the contract with this company called Flock that Harvey apparently, we're paying big money for various security cameras. So according to this data that I received, taxpayers were paying for 98, almost 100 video surveillance cameras and 27 license plate readers in the city of Harvey. It's costing us about $500,000 per year. And so I said, with all the unsolved crime, what is Chris Clark doing with all those cameras? Okay. So this was from that contract. You can see. So they said, the invoice 1 and 2 were about, that's about, a little more than 300,000. And then year 2, about 400,000, all these amounts that are, and then it keeps increasing, but basically around $500,000 for 5 years. So then the contract total would be, almost $2.3 million. Well, we could do a lot with that money. You could fix a lot of streets. You could help a lot of families that have high tax bills. You know what I mean? And then again, if you look into the details, so Flock Safety LPR products. LPR is license plate reader. 27. Here you have 27 solar video cameras. And here you have 71 solar video cameras. PTZ, I looked that up, and that just means those are they're specialized, like zooming, where they can zoom and like move the camera around all the time. So where the heck, like, what are they doing with all that stuff? I mean, it's just insane. So that's another one. Let's see, any questions or comments about that? No? Okay. So this is what we mean when we're saying wastes and we get lied to and we're not being given information. Oh, and this was fun. This was random. I allowed the post, but Yumika Brown is running for Congress, okay? But she sits on the board of the MWRD, has refused to speak with us. She voted many, many times for the MWRD, the board she sits on, and Mayor Clark to move forward with the plan to take people's home to force our residents on Myrtle out of their homes for this park that Clark wants to build. So I find it really ironic, but I allowed it just to for the heck of it, and I'm glad some people were chewing her out because she posted saying, "Well, what kind of federal investment in Harvey would help?" So it would help by not voting for projects that force vulnerable residents from their homes. I mean, oh, this was yesterday. Now I know Colby posted she had a turkey handout and events. I think maybe at the old Y or something. But the city of Harvey had theirs. I roll because you see who was hosting or who was it said sponsored by Fair Towing and E&R Towing. Now, you know all those people that have been towed for bogus reasons and they get charged $1,000, $2,000 to get their car out. So there you go again. Your horrible politicians stealing money from you and then saying, "Hey, look, we're going to give you food." Let alone they bought it with the money that they stole from you. So it's not a gift. They're not gifting you anything anyway. Whatever. Oh, like Derek posted, don't give us turkeys. Give people their cars back without the explosive rates. Yep, exactly. I asked for Randall L's, Alderman Randall L's, his receipts and invoices for his aldermanic expenses, and the city said there were no records. So that's interesting. I posted, if you want to see Talani Smith's receipts, I've shared that for her alderman expenses from part of 2024. They didn't give me the whole thing, but oh yeah, that's the whole. I posted the whole document. If you want to see the whole video camera contract that Harvey signed with Flock, the name of the company is Flock. I also shared Tyrone Rogers, some of the information on his expenses, Colby, Tracy Key. I think that was about it as far as the research. To this on December 2nd, the Better Government Association is hosting a thing on the power of journalism. So if anyone wants to join me, it'll be in I think that's Hyde Park there, 6161st and Blackstone. But anyway. Okay, guys, I think that is about it. Let me see. You're going to have to go door to door for what? Ethel, okay, back. Can someone FOIA their surveillance camera footage of people going in and out of Napoleon's townhouse behind Beggar's Pizza? Oh, yeah, that's true. You know, there is because I have FOIA'd footage before. We could try, but I think that there is. They've responded before with like this. Oh, no, but that's for body camera footage. So I don't know if that applies here. That's a really good question, Paul. Someone should try it. Why don't you try it, Paul? They'll probably be more likely to answer you than me. I'd have to appeal it for sure, but it's a good question. And you know what's funny is he might share it because supposedly, at least in public, Clark and Napoleon are feuding. So maybe they would share it. But yeah, that police cameras, as far as I know, it's still there. The interesting thing though is it's interesting that you mentioned that about the cameras. You know, it says in the contract that it's like what did I say, 98 cameras that we're paying for, but I've only ever seen maybe 2 or 3 out in public anywhere, at the most at the same time in Harvey. So it's like, where are all the other cameras? That's really, really weird. It's like where they just put down as fake expenses and then they took the money and put it somewhere else. I don't know, man. So very good question, Paul. But I think otherwise, I think that's about it for me. Let me make sure I didn't forget anything. There's not even one camera here. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not even a fan of that. I don't want to live in a police state that's surveilling me all the time. I think that's just, it's a waste of money. And if you do want to have uh police the way they are now, I don't even support, because there's no civilian we basically have no civilian oversight of our police at any level. It's very, I mean, you could say maybe some towns if they have, decently honest politicians, but I mean, in most places, at most levels of our government, in the United States at least, the police are pretty powerful, and they have very, very, very few checks on their power, it's very dangerous, and it's not safe, it's not sustainable. But if you just wanted to do that, like, just have people do foot patrols, bike patrols, just have staff be out there. Like, don't use cameras. You don't need to have cameras everywhere. Yeah. It's just it's um okay, I think that's about everything. I know I still have some more FOIAs I need to go through on my own here. It'll be really interesting though, because Clark's canceling these meetings and everything, but guess what? We are still slated to have Harvey housing court this Wednesday, the day right before the holiday. And you know why? I doubt they're going to cancel that, because they want people's money, because they're greedy, and it's all about scams. That's crazy, man. Please do reach out to, if you or someone else is being extorted by Harvey, if you've gotten a housing ticket or a ticket for your car or whatever. We want to know those stories so we can track them. Still no word from the city on when we're going to get our firefighters back, our police back, our other city workers back. So it's pretty dire, pretty bad. I got that petition started, which was very important. So please like and share that petition. That would really help. We want to get as many signatures as possible. Real estate sales have been very slow because I'm worried about the economy too, because the interest rates at the federal level, they need to come down. So I love doing this local reporting, but I usually pay and spend my resources and time on this stuff. It doesn't pay me. So I'm thinking about starting a Patreon, and I need to work on that as well. So if anyone wants to support this kind of work, I love doing local journalism and really trying to get in depth and figure out what's going on for Harvey and other Southland towns. But it does take a lot of time and effort and money. So I'm going to try to do that. And if people want to sponsor me through Patreon, that would be much appreciated. I think I shared my township comments with you guys last time. Yes. I didn't do a full sort of Jet update, but I did have court with him last week. He showed up on Zoom, but he didn't show up in person. So the judge said, well, that's not going to work for your hearing. You have to be here in person. I did complain to the judge. I said, hey, this is the second time that Jed has not shown up. This is very disrespectful to me, my time, your time, the court, everything. And I think you should just give me that plenary stalking no contact order for 2 years. That's what I'm asking for, to be protected from this guy. And so he said, well, I will definitely take that into account the next time, but I want to give Jed a chance to come in person. So we're going to, the next date will be December 18th, I think at 1:30. He said we can come on Zoom at 11. And then if he does hear, if we do have the hearing, it will be in person at 1:30 and on Zoom. So yeah, I don't think that Jed should have been given that extra grace, but whatever. That's what the judge decided. But it was crazy. He was very disrespectful. Jed, not the judge. And even when the judge was giving him another like a third attempt to go to this hearing, Jed's complaining about it and saying, "Oh, all these people are after me." And then Jed kept changing the date. He was like, "What about December 18th? Oh, okay. Oh, no, I can't do that because I'm going to be there for his buddy Greg. I have something that day." And then the judge said, "Okay, what about this day?" And then he said, "Okay, let me look. I could do that. Okay, I could do that." We schedule it. And then Jed goes, "Oh, no, never mind. I can't do that because I actually have, Your Honor, I have a court date then too." So then we go back and it's like, oh, my, it was pretty bad. But anyway, it'll be December 18th. Yeah, so I think that's about it. And I'm going to look really quickly just to see. We were supposed to have that meeting tomorrow, but as far as what Harvey Housing Court is supposed to be Wednesday, right before Thanksgiving. And watch, because I guarantee you they're not going to cancel it. They want that money. You know what they do at Housing Court? The mayor and or Ramona Simpson or Korean Davis, they show up and they just like to sit and watch as the judge, impartial judge that's hired, paid by Clark, and the city prosecutor, Patrick Walsh, harasses and intimidates people into paying fines. Clark and his staff, they seem to enjoy it. It looks like it's fun for them to say, "Ooh, how much money can we squeeze out of people today?" That's what it's like when you go to a Harvey Municipal Court. It's horrible. Clark wants to be the one to reopen the city to be the savior. I guess so. It's like, well, dude, you had 6 years to try to save things, and you fought me and everybody else who wanted to help you, and now you're stuck. And we're not going to let you hide now, buddy. Yes, Jed was debating with the judge. Disrespectful. Exactly. Yes, thank you. Beth knows. Beth was there. So, but anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. Like I said, I'm going to try to post that Patreon thing. Maybe hopefully get some supporters because I would love to continue this sort of work, but I could use the financial support. And then let me know if if you guys have any other things that you want me to report on or to cover or talk about or whatever. I'll try to incorporate those as well. And I think that's about it. Unless anybody has anything else. Anything else on your mind? Now's your time to share that, to speak now, or forever hold your peace. Oh, and also don't forget, Amir and I and his daughter and others who were harassed the night of July 14th, we have not forgotten about that. So I'm sure, Jed and or Mayor Clark and all of Jed's associates, including Keisha Stokes, who assaulted and battered me, I'm sure they're hoping that because Harvey swept under the table that we're just going to forget about it. But we have not forgotten about the violence from that night. And we will be doing whatever we need to do to hold people accountable for that. All right. Okay, you guys. Well, yeah, let's I was going to say, should I go live tomorrow or something? Or we need to figure out, but I agree. I think we should do something tomorrow, even if it's just a Zoom. We need to do something for the people of Harvey to have a forum tomorrow because the mayor cannot decide to just shut down all public, communication, meeting space like that. That's not, he doesn't have the right to do that. This is our city. We the people need to take things back. So, Yeah, so let's talk more about that tomorrow. And thank you again, all in the queue, for that offer. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Beth, Idol, Quebec, whoever else I forgot. You need the feds. Well, hey, the feds just convicted the mayor of Riverdale, and that's our next door neighbor town. So it's obvious they're working away, but we can't rely on them. That's why I said it has to be we, the people, have to come together. Sometimes the authorities do the right thing. A lot of times they don't. So it has to be we, the people. And everybody helps, including you, Monsieur Hydro-Québec. We appreciate you. All right, guys. Bonne nuit, or bonne continuation de soirée. If if you're like Wyoming gal and it's still kind of earlier in your evening, Hubert and I are just gonna eat and chill, and we'll talk more tomorrow, and maybe we'll do a Zoom or something. All right. Au revoir.